Hello, hello, hello. Nice starting shot of a curtain. Hey, there's a cat. So, wanted to talk about cable management. That's right. Mine's not perfect by any means, but wanted to go over what I'd done behind the desk. Just some of the methods that I used whenever I was building the pipe desk. So the main thing that I did was I used a lot of this split loom cabling or split loom cable wrap, and it's pretty amazing. Comes in different sizes. You can wrap bundles of cables together inside of this stretchy mesh nylon stuff, and kind of run them. So like this stuff here, so these are two big bundles. Sorry, there's a lot of darkness in here too, by the way. Sorry, it's getting late and I'm running out of light. But like those are big bundles of cables, speaker wires, bunch of patch cables, all that stuff. And you can run them in bundles instead of having a bunch of individual cables. And then, it's open. So if when you need a cable to come out of the thing, then you can do that. So I did a lot of bundling of cables that run across the back of here, kind of like these cable runs here, these cable runs here. And both of these are split loom cable wrap. This was an older one than I had that I'd used previously. This was a newer one. This is a little more meshy, like, whatever. And this is like a softer one. They both do the same thing. The other thing I used, they have this other wrap that is it's made to wrap bundles of wires together, kind of like down here, and the one that I use. They make these in like long tubes. There's also cat hair all over it already. They make them in long tubes that have like zippers or Velcro. The one I got was actually a roll. And you can cut off pieces that you want, like however much you need it to use. And you could also double it. Wow, that's really... It doesn't take long for cat hair to stick to anything. You can cut off sections of it and like double it up to make it fit wider bundles. That's kind of what I did there. That was actually two different pieces. And so this side is a little less neat. There's not a whole lot that's going to this computer. The other thing I did was, some of these cables I had to like roll up. So, but this side, basically we're just looking at one cable going from the UPS over to here, and then these are kind of bundled together. This is all going to be kind of on the side, and there's a lot of stuff that gets to be shoved underneath the side of the desk. The other thing here we're looking at is my power blocks for my lights. I had no place to put these, and the lights, the cables are long enough, short enough, whatever, that these will not sit on the ground or anything. So I ended up having to Velcro them to the pipe. So that was an easy solution. The big problem that I've got is this area right here. So this is kind of a terrible, terrible thing. It is wow, it's so dusty already. It's been here for like 2 weeks. This is a laptop hub, a keyboard hub, USB keyboard and mouse hub, and then an HDMI hub. Because I share a monitor between a laptop streaming PC and a gaming PC. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on with kind of on this whole little mess. So thankfully it's hidden behind the monitor, so you're not really gonna see it. That's kind of the goal of getting all your cables cleaned up anyway, is to make sure that people aren't gonna be able to see it from the front. Like this still kind of looks like a mess, even though everything is kind of like neatly. There you go. All this does kind of look like a mess, even though it's all kind of neatly like wrapped and bundled around the pipe on the back of the desk here. And yeah, and then same thing like with this particular one, that one. Also, it's, you know, two HDMI cables and a DisplayPort cable. But all of this stuff here. But there's also underneath here. Again, it's really hard to see because it's dark, but it's a little wire cage. I don't know what you call it. You can put power blocks and stuff in it. It screws into the bottom of your desk, and it's really handy to put, you know, heavier power blocks, short cables that won't fit anywhere else, that kind of thing, to get them off the floor and hide them. So that's another thing I did. But all of this here, you know, again, it's some things you can't hide. Some of this stuff I could probably wrap together, but again, it's all going to be kind of hidden behind the desk. You know, I tried to get everything as clean as possible. Just some things just are not going to ever be perfectly hidden and masked and whatever, but I just kind of had to stop. I feel like there's probably many ways that I could, you know, continue making all this better and cleaner, but I just kind of wanted to be done with it at this point. But yeah, so like, you know, got a bunch of cables running from, you know, across the bottom, and just kind of tried to use the pipes again as wrapping points for all the cables that were going back and forth. And again, this is using 2 PCs, a laptop that is work related, and then 4 monitors. So, and that's also including a stereo and a hardware mixer. So there's a lot of cables that most people are not going to have. And then, you know, like down here, same thing, like a lot of the power cables, like these are actual monitor cables, having these wrapped into bundles. This is an extension cable that's kind of wrapped along with it, and, you know, kind of wrapping these up where they're coming out of the UPS block there. So kind of just keeping everything kind of neat and twisted together so that you've got less nonsense all over the floor, you know what I mean? And, you know, and again, things can kind of split out of it. Like this cable is actually going all the way up to the back of that monitor. But this here, that's another thing there, is some of these cables that I bought were too long, which it's better that they're too long than too short, but I did have to kind of loop these up so that way they're, you know, it's a smaller amount of cable that's going into the PC and they're still kind of clean instead of laying on the floor. The pink cable is my mouse cable, and my keyboard cable is also up here. I like those loose because I tend to move them a lot. But otherwise, you know, like most of the spaghetti mess is, again, it's really kind of hard to see back here, but the spaghetti mess going into the back of the computer is as minimal as possible. And for the most part, like, this leaves you with nothing in the middle of the floor. So nothing going, you know, under the bottom of the desk, nothing really on the back except, you know, this little bit here and then that cable behind me. So those cables going, again, you know, this stuff has to come up and go to the monitors. So you're looking at some cable bundles that are going up. But yeah, man, the split loom stuff is pretty great. It is a bit of a practice of patience of trying to wrap all this stuff together, and then, you know, some of it you just kind of have to put where it goes and then kind of just work out what can you wrap together, you know, like all of this stuff here, most of this is not even related cables. Some of these are related cables, like my speaker wire, those are all together. All the patch cables for my mixer are all together, like they're coming out of this guy here, and then going, you know, finishing the run, like going back into here. So yeah, again, just kind of wanted to, I mean, I don't even know. some of this is just to record for my own future reference, just to look at, you know, possible ideas on how to improve capturing it on video, that kind of thing. But yeah, that's the back of the pipe desk, and hopefully you can, I don't know, gain some ideas. This is the other thing was the silver single-sided Velcro roll stuff, cable wrap tie or cable ties. This stuff's pretty great. You could buy this in rolls instead of buying it like in little individual cuts. This was actually, it started out as I think 33 feet, or no, I'm sorry, 33 yards, and I've used a lot of it. I mean, I would say that's probably over half of it that I used, just, you know, cutting strips to wrap things, tie things to the, you know, to the pipes, that kind of thing. But yeah, also excuse all the cat hair. There's a lot of cat hair everywhere, so, because I have cats. Get over it. Yeah, like I said, this side is a little busier than the other side because there's a lot of cables here that are going into this, and then a lot of stuff, all my network cables going up to my hub, and you know, fiber optic cable. Sorry, I'm trying to stand up. So everything goes into the gaming side of the desk. The streaming side is less occupado. But I'm trying to back up out of here. Yeah, so that's the back of the desk. I mean, when you get up close, it still looks, there's a lot of spaghetti going on, but I mean, I feel like that's not bad, right? That's really all I have on the floor is just this little bit of stuff. You know, I mean, this, you can see this down here, but it's mostly kind of going to be tucked underneath the side of this desk. And then all of this big gigantic mess, again, is going to be hidden behind all the monitors. So really the idea, we'll cover this in another video once I get everything cleaned up. I'm looking at trying to make everything invisible from the front. That's kind of what we're going with. So once we can get to that point, then we'll be in good shape. So anyway, thanks for watching. Goodbye.